Good morning, everybody. It's April 28th, 2025, and the most wonderful day of our week because it's Mondays with Bev and Paul. And hi, everybody. My name's Paul.
Good morning. This is Bev.
Good morning, Bev. Nice to see you
Morning,
back
Paul.
smiling.
Yeah.
Everybody
Yes.
missed you for our workshop, and we're going to tell everybody about that here in a moment. And we're going to talk about why BioTouch is not a cure all. And Bev has one of those perfect examples in this past week.
You're right.
And we're going to put her on the hot spot. But first,
Um,
we're going to take us
sure.
to the dream catcher. And I am excited about this one. We have two of the most amazing ladies. We have Lonnie and Edith together. Lonnie was our
Wow.
certified instructor in Hawaii, ran the Hawaii Center when we left. Edith was our certified practitioner here, actually in Sierra Vista there. I'll have you see if she's still around or not, but
I know.
I don't
I
know if she
love
is. Right,
Edith. I
right.
haven't seen her in years.
Right, right. But I
Wonderful.
think she might have passed on. And anyhow, here's the most wonderful picture of the two of those ladies together.
Oh,
Um, just amazing ladies. I can't even
yes.
say anything about them more than the picture shows it all. Their smiling
Oh,
faces. Lonnie, uh, she was one of the first people to have the poster in her house for her grandchildren because she always felt like she just wanted them to be raised with that picture, of which I noticed Kai just showed her daughter touching a poster. So,
yeah.
passing
Yep.
on the lineage. And then when Edith
Right.
and Lonnie got together, it was just an amazing. So
Oh,
we
yeah.
put them in the center and we spread the all the juju juice all to them too. Lonnie,
Yeah.
she passed away decades ago, and I think Edith has passed away recently too. But
Probably.
yeah,
Probably.
so
Yeah.
love to the both of them. If you'd like to be in the middle of the dream catcher, send us a picture of yourself or someone you'd like to see in the middle, and we'll put them in the middle of the dream catcher.
Yes,
And
indeed.
actually, I should have put you in the middle of it. We'll do you
I,
next week for healing.
I need some juju.
Juju. So let's talk about what just happened to Bev this past week and talk about how that's teaching us. BioTouch is not the cure all, but it
Right.
certainly helps and doesn't help if we don't have the opportunity to get it. So why don't you just sort of update us quickly on what happened to you past week?
Well, I had a pre-existing little condition that I thought was eczema, and it turns out well, my daughter took me to a little emergency room last Monday because I finally looked at my legs and said, I think I've taken this as far as I can. Well, when I went to the clinic, the nurse said, well, that's not eczema, but by the way, your heart rate is crazy and you have AFib. So they put me into a room. I'm still in shock. And then I ended up going to the hospital and didn't get out until Saturday. How about that? What a journey.
What a
Oh
journey.
dear.
But lots of things happened during that time
Yes. Oh, yes,
that we
yes.
want to talk about.
Yeah.
Like one of the things you said, you felt like maybe you were in denial, or was it the right time? So your daughter said something which triggered this. What did she say? We'll sort of start with
Yeah.
that.
My daughter is a registered dietitian. She's worked at the hospital that I was in for quite a few years. She has worked with doctors. She's works as a counselor for the VA. So she's very medically trained. And she literally said to me, Mom, I honor all the integrative, the complementary, but it's just part of the whole. Allopathic medicine has a place. And I had to say to her, well, we absolutely agree with that. The thing about it is that each of us is what responsible for making a choice at some point. And I might say that with my background with BioTouch, the awareness that you and I always talk about, self-awareness. At that point, when I looked at my legs and I said, okay, it's time for an intervention on another level. Um, And that's exactly what happens. You've said many times, when you're getting biotouch, it opens up an awareness that at some point you say, you know what, it's time for me to have that surgery, or it's time for me to go on this diet, whatever. It helps us to become clearer in what the next step is. And I think that for me was, well, evidently was a good choice because I ended up in the hospital for 5 days. So, in spite of myself.
Right, right. So let's ask you this: were you able to get BioTouch while you were in the hospital?
Well, I was, but not directly. It's interesting. Even if I had asked a nurse, they wear gloves, and I'll tell a little wonderful story about that in a minute. But I will say that you know, Paul, as we brought up during the COVID, if you have nothing at all, just just having another person think about you, do those sets, you're still establishing a relationship because you know that it's still you and another person, even if they're not physically there. And we've had a lot of people say, "Wow, that was." So at that point, I was like, I am getting biotouch. It might be not physically touching, but it is another person literally visualizing doing biotouch with me and me visualizing you doing it with me. So, do we know that that was effective? I will tell you this, and I told you this before the show. I feel very strongly. Every single test I had, everything they did turned out how healthy I really am. And I equate that much to, I've been having BioTouch for many, many years. And can we prove it? No. Can we prove that isn't the truth? No. So, BioTouch definitely has its place. Yes, it's not a cure-all, but it works so well with every single thing. So, I do want to say that one of the nurses said something so profound to me. I'm just like, wow, she gets it. She said that after COVID, they all have to wear gloves. They're not allowed to touch anybody on the skin. Okay. And she told me that it just kills her because she feels like she is depriving her patients of a deeper, loving care that she could be giving them if she was allowed to touch them on the skin. I mean, I looked at her and I said, well, you would absolutely embrace BioTouch because that's what it does. And she said, I would love it if BioTouch could be part of the practice in a hospital. It just makes sense.
Right.
Yeah,
And you actually shared it with a few nurses that actually want to
I
take our classes.
did.
Yeah, well,
These couple of young nurses, they went right to our website and the Mark, he goes, that's you. That's you. I'm like, that's me. I said, but don't forget, as nurses, we offer CEs. I had about four nurses just saying, "Oh, we're going on your website. We're checking this out. We're very interested." So,
well, maybe you
yeah,
need to do a little workshop over there in
I
Sierra
thought
Vista.
about that.
Yeah,
I actually
there's
thought
no
about that.
reason why not.
Yes,
Maybe that's the
yes.
reason you had this problem was to round
Well,
up some nurses.
absolutely right. I mean, crazier things have happened.
Yeah,
I'll be
we
a
got to
guinea
look at
pig.
the whole picture, not just part
Yeah,
of it here.
no, absolutely
Maybe
right.
you're like me. You were just the stooge to get this problem to open up a new door.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
right, right. So I'm going to ask you this one too. So you had your daughter with her. Did she do BioTouch on you at all?
Oh dear. Okay, we have said this many times. One of the biggest challenges of BioTouch is how accessible it is all the time. All the time. It's accessible. And what I asked my darling daughter, she took me home and she spent that first night with me. Would you do BioTouch on me? Well, mother, of course I will. You know I will. Just tell me what sets you want me to do and I will do it. I said, "Oh, thank you." Well, guess what? My darling daughter never did BioTouch on me. And I remember the next day, I'm like, I had a perfect opportunity to get BioTouch from another human being. And what did I do? And I had to take responsibility. It wasn't, you know, anyway, I
Right.
was kind of disappointed. I wanted it so bad, and it just flew right out of my head.
Right.
Wow.
So she
What a
never had the
bummer.
opportunity to work on you in the hospital either while you were going through the procedures?
Well, you know what? She probably did. I had so many tabs on my chest
Right.
but no excuse. We would have and I thought about it again. I thought about it. I know she would have done it. What is that, Mr. Paul Bucky?
That's a good damn question. I mean, I notice it
What,
with Jenny
even
and I.
me?
Yeah. I mean, Jenny and
Yeah,
I have to force ourselves to take the opportunity, the whole 5 or 10 minutes, and
yeah,
usually we'll wait to the end of the day. And what do we do with the rest of the day? We futz it away. We'll read, we'll
I
clean,
know.
we'll walk to here, we'll eat lunch, but take 5 minutes to do biotouch. So even us who it's part of
Right,
our life,
right.
you know?
What is that? Oh, I just thought, what an opportunity missed,
Yeah.
you know? I was just so sorry for myself because I didn't get that, just that connection. But as I knew, my body would respond, for heaven's sakes.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it responded just even as we talked about Jenny and I sitting there that one time and we told you we were doing it. So there was an
yes,
understanding and we
yes,
both gave you, the biotouch and we sat, I remember we were sitting out in the porch doing the biotouch on you there
yeah,
and you said
yeah.
your blood pressure
Oh my
dropped. They
gosh.
were blown away or something.
So you texted me, you said, okay, we're going to start now. I said, okay. So I just closed my eyes and envisioned you two doing BioTouch on me, right? About 5 minutes later, a nurse walks in and she looks at the blood pressure machine and she says to me, I couldn't see it. She says, Bev, do you have a history of low blood sugar? Low blood pressure. I said, no. And she goes, man, your blood pressure just dropped a few minutes ago. And I'm like, oh,
Interesting.
wow. That was pretty
Interesting.
wild. That was pretty wild. Yeah.
So, one of the things Bev and I talked about before the show too was, there's this sort of like, it's not really guilt, sort of like, oh, I could have done something sooner. And,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then we start beating ourselves up.
Yeah.
But, many times BioTouch, you do these things and there's this knowing. Now it's time to do something. And I'm reminded of one of our practitioners right in the beginning. Lynette was working on her husband, who was a doctor, orthopedic surgeon, and she was gonna, oh, Dad, let me try this on you. So she did BioTouch on him, and within 24 hours, he got incredible chest pain. So
Wow.
they took him to the emergency, and sure enough, he had 80% blockage in his arteries. Had it for
Crazy.
years, right?
My
But
God.
being a doctor, doctors don't go to doctors. They said,
Right.
Tom,
Nope.
had you not come in here, you could be lying dead right now. And the thing we always talked about even then was BioTouch help, whatever sheer kept him going, sheer determination all those
Yeah.
years, BioTouch helped him relax enough into his body to know when it was time to take care of it.
Yeah.
And so I look at what happened with you in that same way. I mean, all the things you did to, and you tried this and you read this,
Yep.
it's not necessarily self-diagnosis, but it was an opportunity for your body maybe to be ready to be diagnosed with AFib. Maybe
Well,
if you'd gone in for the feet before, they would have not found it. So who knows? There's so many unknowns that
unknowns.
you did
Right.
go when you felt it was time.
Yeah.
They did find a problem that they said isn't really your problem. I guess
I
it's
know. That was very interesting. I had a couple of my doctors say AFib is not through any fault of yours. This is just some of it is through aging. A lot of it is, there's a hereditary lineage here. But the nurse did tell me, you cannot believe how many people are walking around on the planet with AFib. It's very common, but it does lead to strokes. And
Right.
that they were very cautious about that and looking for everything. And I will say this again, every single procedure they did, every single test they did, every time, everything in my body was so amazing. They could not believe how healthy I am other than that. And I'm somebody who has had BioTouch for quite a long time. Maybe not as on a basis that I would want it to be. I do get it once a month, thank heaven. But a history of this, I mean, is that I feel like it's a foundation for me,
Right.
that it has held me. And even in this little crisis,
Right.
um, was able to respond very well to everything. One of the nurses said, "Oh, I don't even know why I'm taking your vitals. You're perfect."
Right.
I love that. And I was like, "Oh, thank you. That's a great thing to say."
So, folks, you got Bev around for another 20, 30, 40, 50 years.
Well, yeah.
One
And
little.
maybe a little wiser, right? I don't
Right.
know.
So remember, BioTouch is a complement. It's something we use on our journey for health,
Right.
well-being. It's an integrative approach. It's a holistic approach. And there's no, it helps us listen to what we need, and then to work with our practitioners. So the sense I got was Bev was able to work with the doctor. She got information. She knew other things about her own body, and now
Yeah.
it's been affirmed. It's sort of a reset. In fact, that's what they did to your heart. They
That's what they
rebooted
did.
you, right?
They actually, I said, "You mean you're going to reboot my heart?" And he goes, "That's about it." And it was very successful, I'm happy to say. But what a weird thought.
Right.
We all need our hearts rebooted, maybe, huh?
Well, that's true.
That's what BioTouch is here to help us with, I believe.
So, keep getting your BioTouch. If
Yeah.
you're having a problem remembering to do it, just remember Paul and Bev have a hard time too. So
Yeah.
let's remind each other. That's why we do these Monday shows. Really, that's the only reason we do
Yeah.
these Monday shows, is
Yeah.
to continually remind us how important it is to get BioTouch. Once a month even. Maybe that's all you need, once a month for a
I'll take
maintenance
it.
program. Yeah.
Take it.
This is not something that has to be done every day. It's not something that has to maybe be done every week. To be able to do on a maintenance program once a month, a couple of times a month, and take 10 minutes to do a few sets of points, who knows? You could be as healthy as Bev, moving into
Yeah.
her eighth decade pretty soon. Well, a few years to go. But
Well, you're pushing me, aren't you?
but it's the same thing. They say that about me when I go in. It's like, God, you're really healthy. They say it about Jenny at 80 years old. My God,
I
you
know.
look like a 60-year-old. She's
I
got
know.
problems. She takes this med and that med.
Right.
Something, what I've learned with BioTouch, it doesn't matter. Get the operation, take the
Yeah.
medication, take the
Yeah.
vaccine, don't take the vaccine. Just listen to what you need.
Listen to your body. That's a very important first step for
Right.
all of us. Yeah.
So we hope these Mondays are helping you listen to what you need, not judge yourself. Don't beat yourself up because you didn't do this or you did do that. Bev, thanks for sharing your story. Appreciate you being
Absolutely.
vulnerable and open with us all.
Yeah.
And if any of you would like to share your story and come on with us, hey, let us. We'll put you on here. We'll bring you in, share how BioTouch can help all of us.
Yeah.
So, thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you all next week.
Have a
Bye
great
now.
week. Bye.
Days in and days out, space and time is all about feeling pressure with the pain, in sunshine or in the rain. Living is a place in mind, giving is being kind. And the pain is too much, what we need is bio-touch. When I'm touching you, you are touching me. It's a simple thing to do and a natural way to be.